the changes that you want to see most at the football club. But I'll also talk about the stadium, Erik ten Hag, and general optimism. You said you were generally optimistic. I'm not pessimistic. I'm as optimistic as I've been in a long, long time when it comes to Manchester United. I'm just one of those people where the proof's in the pudding. You know, all these people that are like, it's definitely going to be different. It might not be. Hopefully it will be.
But we have
not
to celebrate
definitely.
the small victories that we're seeing. I know what you're saying. I'm not being delusional. But I think, for me, what I want to see right now, like we said last week on the show, better players, recruitment. You know, now we've got people in a position that can recruit, get the right players in. Because I'll be honest, I don't like the Glazers. No Man United fans do. But they have spent money. But they've just spent money on the wrong... Right. But
that's the issue. They haven't spent their own money.
But they've recruited the wrong players. Hugh, Anthony, those types of players. So much money. Mason Mount, so much money. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of money. Sancho, a lot of money has been spent.
How would you like to see them approach recruitment from here on out then? Particularly as Matt told us, Sir Jim Ratcliffe intimating, you know, the big outlays of the last few years will mean we're not going to be able to go out and spend 90, 100 million again.
Scout, go to games. You know, Gary Neville made a really good point the other week, and he was saying that Sir Alex Ferguson used to be at the academy games in the morning and then go to their games, you know, a few hours later. Same with Edu at Arsenal. As soon as they got Edu in at Arsenal, things started to change. That's not a coincidence. So I think that, I don't think we're going to see change right now. I love the optimism of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think he really does care about the club. I get that feeling. And like Matt said, he's visible, which is great because we want to hear what the ownership have to say.
But what would you, just to go back to my question, what do you want the approach to recruitment to be like?
Well, I mean,
do you want us to...
I want us to buy... I said this to you in the break. I want us to go and buy 5 players at once, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but what kind? What type? What profile are we talking about? 20 million, 40 million, 60 million?
If the checkbook
age
was blank.
profile, what are you talking about? The checkbook isn't blank. We got to be somewhat realistic. But for example, let's put it into this context. We got 150 million to spend. How would you like to see it spent?
I mean, who's available right now? I think the players that I would have wanted have already gone. Like players like Declan Rice. Those types of players.
You could only have got one Declan Rice and
but
then
still,
a sub
world-class player. Yeah, but world-class players like Harry Kane. I say it every week on this show. But it's true.
But that's
like,
my
these
point.
are the types of players that I want.
But would you be happier if Manchester United started this era by saying, we haven't got that much money to spend, but this is the level of player that we think is appropriate to bring into Manchester United, and we won't bring in anything else unless it is, you know, just to fill up the numbers. So if we've got 150 million to spend, we're happy to go and put 90 million on one player, 60 million on another, 2 players that we think are going to take us back to glory? Or do you think they need to be sensible and say, around the 30 million to 35 million mark, we go and get 4 or 5 players?
I don't know, Hugh. It's difficult because some players, I mean, you look at City with Akanji, he was 25 mil, wasn't he? There's certain players, Nathan Ake, 40 million. So you can get good players in certain positions for that money, because I think we're led to believe you have to spend at least 100 million to be able to get a top player. It doesn't always work like that. In recent years, it's worked like that with Caicedo, Lavia, Jack Grealish and those types of players. But I think we just need to be smart about the people we recruit and not just get... We've been getting players and not really having a plan for them. That's the reality. And I think what's going to change now, hopefully... You're asking me a question I don't really know the answer to, Hugh. What they're going to do, how they're going to scout, how they're going to recruit. But the fact that we've got people in positions right now that can make decisions and are actually trying to do that, because Ed Woodward wasn't doing that.
No, but I can answer the question. I would rather see Manchester United go out and get players that are 20, 25, 30 million, who they've really scouted, really see potential in, who are younger players, who might not already have all the medals and trophies. You know, I would rather see that and build a project and say these players are going to fit the style of football that we've got than say, oh, we've gone and got a player who's 32 years old, but they've won 5 Champions Leagues, so we get them at the back end of their career and they don't really perform. Yeah, they might still cost 25 or 30 million, but I'm quite clear, younger, hungrier, cheaper is how I want to see them. Well, that's up to them. That's up to them.
Who? I don't think you're getting many. I don't know, Hugh. I don't think you're getting many top players for 25, 30
when you look around the Premier League, you're seeing players who have had an effect who cost that much money. And there are a number of them, right? But the problem is, if you're a big football club, as soon as people say Manchester United are on the phone, suddenly the zeros start getting added onto everyone's value. But the reality is, if you really do your due diligence and you go for deals early, you get more value. Manchester United have been far from that in terms of their approach over the years. There is a way, believe me, because other clubs have done it, right? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to you, I just don't know who we're going to get for 25 or 30 mil. I don't at this moment in time.
We don't. But there are players out there who would cost that much money. It's down to our recruitment department to find the right profile of player. That's all I'm going to say, right? Because there's players going. Declan Rice, who came out of an academy at West Ham United, if you'd have got him early, would have cost a lower amount of money.
We got released by Chelsea.
Ivan Toney's going to go for big money. Had he been bought by a club 5-6 years ago, he might be a player that you could say you got him early on in his curve, and actually by the time he gets to 26, 27, 28 is a top player.
But you have to have the coaches and the management.
You have to have the scouts, the recruitment, the player identification. Manchester United haven't had that, but if they're bringing in the right people, then maybe they'll get back to that. And I'd rather see that process go slower over the course of 3 seasons, for example, than all at once.
And we might not win anything.
No, we might not win anything for the next 3 years. I can deal with that. Very quickly, yes or no, new stadium, well, not even yes or no. Redevelopment or new stadium? Completely new stadium.
New stadium.
And Eric Ten Hag, stay or go?
Go.
Okay. All right. Those are the views of Lianne Sanderson.